Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the Celtic Cast, episode 4. We're episode 4 now, aren't we? How are the men this morning?
All good, all good. I can't complain. How are you, Mark?
I'm good. These are pretty consistent. We're doing well.
We are.
Four weeks in a row, but this is good.
On the spot.
Don't jinx it now. We won't leave it down next week.
Yeah, we'll try and maintain it now through the Christmas period and into the new year. I think if we get a good run in January as well, we should be on it. What is it with podcasts? I think it's 20 episodes. It's like only like 1% of podcasts make it past the first 20 episodes or something like that. So that's our goal, 20 episodes. Once we breach that, we're in the clear. And then people can start voting for us next year for best podcast of the year on the PCA Awards.
Yeah, I won't take it that far.
We'll take over. Yeah.
How's your week training been?
It's been good. It's been pretty solid. I was down in Manchester yesterday training in FLF. Got a lot of new kit down there, which is good. So I was able to kind of mimic my session pretty like for like, which is good. And performance obviously is kind of peaking for me now at the moment. End of push, super heavy bodyweight wise. Everything is feeling very, very good. The body is feeling it now in terms of like just being slammed, but I'm still progressing. So I can't complain. How is the upper lower treating you so far, Mark? How are the legs feeling?
Good. They feel, to be honest, mate, my knees feel fucking great. Once my knees are fine, my legs can hack it. I think the two sessions now with the equipment I'm using in both, everything feels smooth. So I don't think I'm going to run into any issues now once execution stays in a good position and I don't start just fucking waiting around again.
Yeah. And you're training in oxygen for one of the sessions and then gym closer to you for other ones, is it?
Yeah, so oxygen for my hack session, because they have that, what's it called, mate?
The one Keefe did 9 plates on?
Yes, man. I forget the name of it, but it's really nice.
It's not new tech, is it? No,
it's not new tech, mate.
Do you know what I don't like, though? The way you load the plates on top like a little fucking biscuit going down on a thing. I don't like that.
That drives me crazy on machines. It's not hard to pull these ones off. Usually when there's ones like that, like you ever see a leg press on top?
Yeah.
Like fucking hell. And then the second session, that's a leg press one. That's in. I'm doing that in Dungeon, and I'm using the Nebula at the moment, and it feels good.
Do you have a long commute, Mark, from where you are to get to Oxygen? And Dungeon's like what, 20-30 minutes away? Is Oxygen like a good trek?
Oxygen is like 5 minutes further than Dungeon. They're very close.
Okay.
So it's like it takes about 35 to get to Oxygen and about 28 to get to Dungeon.
Yeah.
Which again, from over there, people think that's crazy. So if I'm like, anyone in Dungeon, like, where are you living? And they're like, oh my God, that's half an hour away. Yeah. Because if anything, everyone who, like, say for example, anyone who trains in Dungeon, I'm like, where do you live? 5 minutes away. Like anywhere longer than like 5 or 10 minutes, they're like, that's too far.
You know what?
You get sucked into the convenient Dubai lifestyle, don't you?
This could open up a little bit of conversation as well. Do you know, when it comes to training, like, I love having 15-20 minute drive going to training. Like, people that live literally on the doorstep, like, when you go out your front door and you're literally 2 minutes away. For me now, like when I was in Marbella, like M13 was literally 6 minute, 5 minute walk. And it just didn't give me that time. Like it's nice to sit in the car, have your sip that, have that going, like listen to music, get involved, like get ready for the session. Like, are you all the same now in that you need that 15-20 minute or?
Sometimes
I love it now.
If I really need it, I'll just walk on the treadmill and listen to some music for 5 minutes before my session. But I live super close to the gym here. Like, it takes me like less than 5 minutes from my door to door to my house to get to the gym. It's like very close when I drive. And I remember when I lived in Tralee as well, same thing, 5 minute drive up to the gym in the morning. And I like that because like just saved me a ton of time in my day. To be honest, when I'm at home in Arfinnan, I drive 25 minutes to Extreme, and that feels fucking long for me, do you know? Because I'm so used to being so close to the gym. But I don't mind that. I think it's fun. I get what you mean, Mike. You can kind of get yourself mentally prepared, leave your pre-workout meal digest a bit,
It's, the same even like when you're finished, like that, like say when you're finished your session, that 20-25 minute drive back, like when Mark with your 35 minute spin, like, do you enjoy like that? Like when you hop in the car, you have that 30-35 minutes of buzzing to get in for that session, or are you like, oh fuck's sake, 35 minutes?
It doesn't even feel like 35. It feels like 10 minutes. And I like having that time, set myself up for the session mentally as well. I think again, I think this comes over time. When I was younger, I used to love that drive because you'd get yourself really psyched up. But now, I could literally just walk. If I had a gym in my house, I could literally just walk in and just switch it on instantly. So I think in the past I would have needed that like psych up time, but now if I could literally just switch it on straight away. So I like to drive, but eventually I would love a house where I'd have like a garage with a couple of bits that I could do like most of my sessions there.
Conor McGee has the right setup.
Yeah.
Conor got a great setup at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm very jealous. Yeah. What do you think of oxygen overall, Mark? Because I was speaking to Kuba recently. He was giving out about it. It's like, shit. The kid selection is shit. Obviously, it's huge and they got loads in there, but he wasn't too impressed with like the quality of what's in there, you know?
He was like, he walked into me, he was like to me, I could train here all the time.
Did you say that?
Yeah. But it's really good. It is. But it's weird. They have, they don't have any Cybex. They've no Prime. So it's weird. They have some good pieces, but like for each body part, there's like fucking 20 rows, all downs, but there's only like 2 that I would use.
Yeah, I get you.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of equipment, but there's still only a select few that I actually really like.
It looks nuts though. It looks like a 5-star hotel. The fucking pool at the back and everything is just so clean and pristine. It's wild.
So what I done the other day was I brought my post-workout and the meal after that, and I trained. I got my steps in. I ate post-workout. I went down to the pool. I got back to messages, done some work, brought the laptop, then went and ate the next meal. So I made a whole day of it. And
you only said on the first episode, Mark, that Dubai wouldn't change it. Now you're the online coach sitting at the pool with the
no, yeah. This is also a question I have. Right? So for me, do you know people like going to coffee shops to work? And unless I am in my space, I cannot do check-ins. I can, but I don't like it. So when I'm doing check-ins, I need my space. If I'm replying to messages, later in the day and stuff, and you don't need your laptop and your space for it really, I don't mind that. But I have to do check-ins in my own space. I can't.
Mark, question for you. Have you got a second screen yet? Because I don't know how you don't operate with a screen.
It's still on the laptop. It's crazy.
I do not know how online coaches work off a laptop. Just get yourself a screen. You will 2x your productivity.
I still have the laptop, and I said I'm going to get a screen, and I am, but I just haven't got around to it yet.
You'll be like, oh my God, why did I not listen to Dara like 3-4 years ago when he taught me this? So
it's going to be like that. It's going to be like when you tell someone to get a rice cooker and they eventually get one, and they're like, oh my God, how have I lifted out this?
It's going to be like that, but on steroids. You'll be getting to the gym an hour earlier, and you'll be like, fucking hell.
You'll have that extra 2-hour chill time in the evening with everything done. Be like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I actually have something I want to bring up on the podcast, so I can go into a little bit more depth in it, guys. So did any of you see my reel that I posted there earlier in the week?
Yeah, like around the training.
It was around the
days on and off, wasn't it?
It was a question basically. Now I think Andrew, my videographer, he kind of like stuck me in the mud here a little bit with it, because what he was actually supposed to say, sorry Andrew if you're watching this, if you could go back in your bodybuilding journey, what would you change differently? But what he actually said was, if you could go back to your first cycle, what would you change differently? That wasn't supposed to be what was supposed to be about. So I feel like people listened to the first part and then kind of made some false assumptions. But I was basically just making the point in that reel about, if I was to go back myself personally, I probably would have gone a little bit harder, a little bit quicker, because then I would have probably escalated my dosages up a little bit quicker than I did, because I stayed very, very low for a long period of time. Yes, you probably should do that because you need to get the most from the least, etc. But I feel like you get a lot from a little up until a certain point where a little doesn't really cut it anymore, because you're getting bigger and you're kind of, I don't want to say you're outgrowing a certain dosage, because like, is that a little bit of bro science? But when you're running very, very low doses, you certainly do anyway, right? And I was getting loads of comments, loads of people misinterpreting what I'm saying. The reel got like nearly 40,000 views, 1,000 likes. It's now been taken down because Instagram have banned me for promoting drugs or something like that, which was quite annoying. And I was like, I'm not even going to dispute that because I'm probably not going to win, you know what I mean? So someone must have reported it. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to bring it up because it's hard on Instagram to kind of like fully break something
Open that
down,
topic,
you
like,
know, because like this is like a 2-minute reel, and it was kind of designed to be a little bit hooky, a little bit controversial, a little bit like not clickbaity, but you know, like get engagement. And it's designed to do that, but then it gets really frustrating for me when I get like the wrong sort of engagement, people misinterpreting what I'm saying and things like that, you know. So I wanted to just clarify that like I wasn't saying that you can't make progress taking like a low amount of drugs. Of course you can. I was just saying what I would have personally done differently, because my whole point was that like if you have somebody who's got very serious bodybuilding goals, this is what this reel was aimed at, right? Let's say you want to turn pro, okay, or you really want to push competing as far as you possibly can. It's like, do you want to be taking the lowest possible dose you can and staying like super safe and healthy the whole time and then taking drugs for like 20 years straight? Or do you want to just be like, right, I'm going to get in, I'm going to do everything I can to, you know, mitigate the health risks, but I'm going to hammer it a little bit harder and try and get to where I need to be a little bit quicker, and then just get out early. Like, you know, you look at like Sebum, for example, right? Sebum probably came out, started hammering it from 18 years old onwards, wins fucking 6 Olympias, retires before he's 30. Do you know what I mean? Jeremy Buendia, 4 Olympias by the time he was like 25, 24, 25. You know what I mean? Like these guys weren't running 200 primo 100 tests. I'm not comparing myself to Sebum or Jeremy Buendia, but I'm just saying, this is the dosages themselves. Like, is running a 2-gram cycle, right? Or running 2-gram cycles for 3, 4, 5 years. Is that worse than running a gram cycles for 10 or 15 years? I would argue the actual length that you expose yourself to anabolics to is worse than just like the dose itself. Like, chronic stress is worse than acute stress. And you can say that for anything and it be true. You get
no,
me?
like what you're saying, like you can see like both points. The only reason you couldn't say the lads like Sebum and all them, obviously genetics will play a huge part when it comes to this, and that's probably something as well. If you mention that in the real, people may not have jumped in it, but if you look at us, like our genetics, like when you say that, like 200, say your first cycle 250 test, you run that for 12, 13 weeks first. Like there is merit bumping that to 300, 350 when you hit that kind of 12, 15 week window, especially with our kind of genetic setup. Like if you look at the lads like Sebum, like he'd grow all day on 2, 300. But if you're taking that into consideration of 2 grams versus 1 gram, like what would you rather? Would you rather be pinning for 10 years daily or 20 years? Like as you're saying there, like
Yeah.
it is going to be that aspect of like, are you coming off in between it? Are you staying on? Are you cruising? What way are you going to bridge between cycles? Like if you're 20 years of like 1,000 like androgen exposure with a bridge in between, like your markers, like I wouldn't want to be doing that. Like I'd rather, as if we had to have a decision there, I would rather 8 to 10 years tops or whatever, pressing it and then get out, reset it.
The thing that causes health issues, right? It's like the high blood pressure, right? Or like the poor cholesterol or whatever. But like, if your blood pressure is high for 5 years versus 10 years, that's the fucking big difference. It's the length and the duration. Again, your cholesterol. If your LDL is sky high for 10 years versus if it's sky high for 5 years, the actual total duration is worse, you know? And one of the other points I was making in that video is that like, I was probably scared myself to escalate things up. I remember as I started to press a little bit harder and escalate things up, I'd be like, getting my bloods on, I'd be like, this is it now. These are the bloods I get back where everything's going to be skewed. And I get them back, and like, sometimes I get them back and they'd be better than they were the time before.
But do you know something that people could look at? If you're saying 1 gram versus 2 grams, like your blood pressure isn't going to be double from 1 gram to 2 gram. Your cholesterol, like, do you know when people say, oh, he's doubling the dose? Like, the health skew isn't going to be like, yeah, it does skew, but it's not going to go from here to all the way up there from 1 gram to 2 gram. Like your blood pressure, you're not going to go from like 120 over 60 to 200 over 90 in that aspect. Like if we monitor our own blood pressure, we monitor ours. I know, Dara, you sometimes you struggle a little bit with keeping that one a little bit in range. Like what would you say, like if we're going to say that when you ran lower cycles versus higher now, like do you see such a skew in them markers?
Do you know what the funny thing, my highest I ever seen my blood pressure when it used to be 150, 160 was when I was running MPP and I was carrying more body fat. Okay? And during that time, my sleep also got very bad. I was only sleeping 5.5 hours a night. So I had chronic sleep. I wasn't actually progressing in the gym, right? My blood pressure was super high. I was super fucking anxious from the lack of sleep and probably the high dose of NPP, okay? And I was running probably a gram less than I'm running now. Do you know what I mean? So it's not all just 2 grams versus 1 gram. Like, what are the drugs?
What is the component
You
for
respond to
using?
drugs. How lean are you keeping yourself? What's your diet like? Like, there's so many different variables that come into play. And that's why I said that as I started to progress, I almost started to see better blood work, because as I was progressing, I was staying leaner, I was more diligent with my diet, actually tracking all my health metrics more. I'm taking more health supplements. I take every supplement I possibly can now. You know, all of those sort of factors are so important. And I think, again, when someone's watching the reel, they just think, oh, look at this big meathead, he's just saying take more drugs, blah blah blah, but they don't know all the background of all the shit that I actually do. So that's why it's difficult as well on Instagram, you know, when it reaches a wider audience. It's reaching all these Americans, these people, that people, and stuff like that.
Especially the Yanks. Mark, what about you now, say, from health perspective with cycles and all that, like with blood pressure, cholesterol, like what would you see sitting from, say, your start when you start doing blood work to now? Like,
this is something that what you touched on there was going to say as well. I feel you could be running the same amount of gear now in comparison to 6 months' time. In 6 months' time, your stress may be higher, your sleep may be worse, you may be fatter, you may be eating more free meals, and they could be 2 completely different sets of blood work. So I don't think it just comes down to the drugs. A lot of it comes down to the lifestyle, sleep. But for me, if my sleep is wank, if I'm too fat, if I'm too heavy, that's going to affect my blood pressure way more than what the size of the cycle is, personally.
Yeah. And here's the thing, you've got guys who have no business taking steroids in the first place, right? You know, your local fucking bros just go into the gym and just think, yeah, run a cycle. They could just run a load of tests. They could just run 600-700 tests, taking AI Monday, Rimidex Monday and Thursday.
Wednesday, Friday.
And you could eat like shit. They could drink at the weekends. They could be carrying a load of body fat. Their estrogen could be sky high if they weren't taking an AI or whatever. And their blood work would be clapped. Their blood pressure would be higher. And we could run 4 times what they're running and probably actually be in a better position. So it's like, it's not just like more drugs equals worse. It's, again, all the baseline foundational thing. In the same way, more drugs don't mean more results if you're not nailing your diet, nailing your training, nailing your sleep. One of the points I was trying to was that all other factors remaining constant, if you're living the bodybuilding lifestyle, if you're looking after your health, etc., is more going to do more up to a certain point? Of fucking course it is. And you'd be naive to think that it's not going to do that. And I was speaking from my own experience, right? And I was saying, look, when I got to a certain point and I started to ramp things up a little bit, the test in particular, right? That was what I found really drove the needle for me quite a lot. I did start to step forwards a little bit more. Now, has my training gotten better in that period of time? Yes. Is it all the drugs? No. But I do think, obviously, there's a factor there. Again, it's not a fucking advert to glorify the use of drugs, or I'm not saying, I wasn't telling anyone what they should do. I was just kind of speaking off my own experience. Do you know what I mean? And I was kind of making a key point that, like, look, I'd rather hammer it a little bit harder for a little bit shorter and get out in time to have a family and be healthy in the future, etc., than just be like, oh no, I'm going to be a safe approach. And you should never go above a gram or a gram and a half. Like, you should keep your doses low because you can make loads of more progress by that. And then that fucking dude is chasing his pro card until he's fucking 40 years of age. I mean, like, you know, give me a break. Are you really the smarter, healthier fucking person? People use this shit, right, as virtue signaling these days. It's the same as the fucking Blue Hair Brigade young one who screams and shouts about how much she cares about the environment, right? You've got all these fucking bodybuilders these days being like, you shouldn't take fucking high drugs, blah, blah, blah. People wear taking high drugs as a badge of honor, but people wear taking low drugs as a badge of honor as well. It's not a fucking badge of honor. I don't give a fuck if you made loads of progress taking 300 milligrams test for a year. It's like, cool, bro. Fucking take 500 milligrams, you make more progress. You know what I mean? You can't tell me that you won't. So, like, don't think you're better than everyone just because you're running low drugs. In the same way, don't think you're better than anyone because you're running high drugs. Do what you fucking need to do to get the results that you want, and like, for your
day, it's your personal decision. You want to push it, you want to run higher, you want to keep it lower, just like as it is. Like, you know how soft the world has gone now, to stay in your own lane. Just you do what you do. Look, everyone has an opinion. Like, that's the thing, as much as you got the wrong engagement that you wanted, you still got engagement.
Yeah,
You still got the eyes.
I gained about 200 followers in the space of like fucking 24 hours from it.
It's probably like, oh, let's follow this guy. Fucking watch him now complain of high blood pressure and bad health metrics in 6 weeks.
I'm transparent with everything I do.
I know.
talk about the fact that I have high blood pressure. I said in a recent YouTube video, look, my blood pressure is sitting around 135-ish on average. And I'm like, I'm heavy. I'm at peak drug load and peak off season. I have issues with my blood pressure anyway. I'm like, this isn't crazy high, but I'm willing to accept this risk with this being mildly elevated. Because
but it's a genetic aspect in blood pressure too. Like I'm 1400 milligram at the minute. My blood pressure is like 112/52. And like I do 40 telmisartan is all. I never go any higher. It's just I don't suffer with that. I EQ in at a decent dose too, not getting any elevation. Like it is that genetic aspect that we have to take in. It's what we inherit down.
When I was natural and I used to literally cycle 75 kilometers for breakfast at the weekend, my blood pressure was like 125 over whatever. Do you get me?
Mm.
And I was like 80 kilos and I was extremely fit. Resting heart rate was like 51, 52 beats per minute. And my blood pressure used to be like 120 over whatever. You know, so like it's not like when I was natty. So it's not like I'm one of these guys who has that 100 over fucking whatever, that super low blood pressure, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's, well, look, you're aware of your bloods, of your blood pressure. That dictates what you do. So I think people will listen to you and be like, oh, I can do X, Y, Z. But I think, look at these markers and what are you able for? Because Dara, for you, right, what's like, if your blood pressure was really good right now and your health markers were perfect, would you push things harder? Maybe, no. But you know not to because where your blood pressure's at.
Yeah, but even when I did start to see my blood pressure creep up a couple of weeks back, I immediately started took steps to try and like bring that back.
It back, yeah.
I brought my test dose way down. I brought my DHG dose up. I implemented a little bit of Cialis, etc. We like, I think I just gained body weight so rapidly and probably bumped my cycle up so rapidly. My body was like, whoa, you know, it just like, that's all that happened, right? And then when I held at a certain weight for a good couple of weeks, it actually came back down again and it settled and I felt better and etc. etc. And my estro was high, and once I brought that back in range, it got lower. It's funny. Now my drug load is actually, it's the exact same as it was, but we've just tweaked some things around. So the test is actually much higher and like the EQ and the DHT are lower. And I did my blood pressure last week and I was like 131 over whatever. It's like the lowest I've seen it in like 10 or 12 weeks, you know, which is funny because I'm quite heavy now. And, you know, like I said to you before the podcast, I'm getting a little bit of pushback in terms of like poor sleep and blah, blah, blah at this stage in the cycle. But that's an important point that you make, Mark. You know, I think like people will watch that video and just think, oh, he's saying take more drugs, blah, blah, blah. Everything that I do, like there's always like a rationale for the decision. And like, it's always, you know, you're always keeping an eye on the health stuff in the background, basically. That's number one.
With saying that as well, Dara, that's fucking heavy for you at the moment.
What's that, 117? Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of weight out of that.
Body weight now. It's your first time being up around there as well, so you're going to get a kickback. Because I remember 120.
My highest ever body weight was 111.8, and that was like after an off-plan meal. So like my highest ever average body weight that I held was 110.8, and I'm 116.8 on average this week. So like it's 6 kg above the highest.
Arguably, maybe the same condition, maybe a bit leaner.
I thought, because I did, it's hard because I put pictures together recently. I didn't share them, right? Put pictures together from when I was at the very last week of my push-up before I started prep. So they were on cycle versus pictures this week. And there's a crazy difference. Like there's 7 kilos in the difference, right? But I think I'm slightly softer on the right, but then I don't know, I'm really pale. I was really pale last year and I'm kind of tanned now because I've maintained the sunbed. So that, and the lighting's a little bit different. So I'm like, am I just more tanned here and it's not making me look as like Caucasian dry or like what's going on? But like, even if I am a bit softer, I don't think it's anything major. Like it's like 2 to 3 pounds, you know?
Thing is, you come in quick too, so like it's not going to be like if you have a longer prep window, like you'll see if
I'm going to need to come in quick. We've got 16 weeks till the first show.
Oh, 16 now from
the way he has it scheduled is 7 weeks for fat loss, and then week number 8, he just said, look, we'll reassess where you're at. Might feed you up that week, and then after that, then it's just hard sprint. So it'll probably be like 7 weeks hard fat loss, break, 7 weeks hard fat loss, peak week. I'm not going to be doing I doubt I'll be doing a linear load this year, though, to be honest. I'll probably be
just come in and just for the regional.
Fucking down to the cap, like, you know, I don't think I'll be eating as much as I was eating going into the last few shows, I'd say. But we'll see. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. So I want to come out of the gate quick as well. I want to just fucking give me 8 weeks, I'll be peeled, you know.
Give you 2-3 weeks, you'll have that sleep under control again and all that. Like, it's that first 2 weeks of fat loss is the best, just to set you up for everything.
Even to be honest, mate, I know now, like, I'll be going home next Friday and I'll get home. Once I get home, I'm on cruise. So, like, I'm not going to be fucking, like, pinning myself every day. 2 weeks at home, low stress, at Christmas with my family. Like, the drugs will be slowly leaving the system. I mean, I think even after I come home after Christmas, I'll fucking feel amazing. And I'm looking forward to that because I think training performance is actually probably going to go up again before I start prep. You know, normally when I cruise, it actually kind of does for the most part. You know, so we'll see.
Nice one.
There's nothing better up until like 4 weeks out. You feel absolutely fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You just feel so productive. And even for me, like even up into a show, like that's my most productive. So, you know what it's like when you're in prep there, you just want to take over the world. You feel like you can do everything.
Fact. Yeah. And anyone who tells you that you shouldn't feel amazing up until 4 weeks out, you have an off season properly, lads. That's my opinion anyway.
I think you're stressing.
I think anyone who doesn't understand hasn't been to the peak of that off season where it's you're literally falling asleep during the day.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like it's weird because like I'm so far above where my kind of natural or normal set point should be or where I was before in the past. But like, you know, normally when you push up to a new body weight, like it really takes you ages to kind of climatize to it. I kind of feel like I did that little bit of an acclimatizing in the middle of this cycle when I was like 114. And then from there, it's been, I don't want to say easy, but it's been much easier than it has been before in the past to get to this position. And my sleep overall throughout this whole entire push-up has been better. My digestion and appetite has been better. Like everything else has been markedly better than it's ever been before in previous off seasons. And I've been very, very happy with that. Like that's one thing that I'm taking as like a massive win this off season. I just feel like it's been like, I just kept the exact same structure and routine with the meal timings and the steps and going to bed at the same time. And like that just helped so much. Do you know, like I forced myself to stay in it. Like, you know, when you get up sometimes, lads, and they're like a little bit lazy, or I won't get up out of bed, or I'm not that hungry, I won't eat that first meal. It was just like, there was none of that. I was just like absolutely fucking on it. Because before in the past, I might slowly start to let those meal time slip forward half an hour, you know. The next thing I know, I'm fucking eating at 8 p.m. at night, going to bed an hour later than I normally would, waking up an hour later the next day. But like that hasn't happened this time. And I think that's actually been what set me up to make the progress that I have or take the extra step forward and not feel fucking like that.
Like what you said there is like getting up, like that's the hardest part of the off season is when you wake up. Like when you're on prep, you'll hop out of bed because you're ready to attack today. In off season, you can get that little bit of like kickback, but that's the difference between motivation and discipline. We're disciplined enough to get up, to keep our routine, to keep our meal timings. Like we don't need to get up at 5 a.m. 5:30. We do because we're doing it all year round. Keeps our same sleep pattern like that. Like, yeah, like this morning, like up in these dark, like Mark obviously doesn't have it now over with the sunshine and the high temperature, but getting up here at 5:30, some mornings you're just like, oh, but you'll get up, you'll do it. We'll keep our routine. And that's why we're making progress. That's why we're seeing it. That's why you're in your position you're in now.
Yeah. And people think like, oh, I can't wait for the off season so that I can relax, you know, and then I'll suffer in prep. I'm like, let me see how much I can suffer in the off season so that I can make
you'll be relaxed.
The more you suffer in it, like even now, like I'm obviously coming on here and saying, oh, it's easy, it's so much better than it's been before in the past. It's still fucking hard, right? It's still difficult. Like I still feel fucking wrecked during the day. I'm still like shoveling the food in, whatever. But like I know like every day I'm like, yeah, just another day of this now. Because when prep starts, it's just gonna be like easy mode, you know? So
the toughest parts of an off season, or the toughest part of the day, is being on the sofa in the evening just before bed and actually have to get yourself up. That's why it's very easy to just lie there and just watch another episode.
6 hours.
Do you ever notice how fast you can jump off the sofa when you're lean in comparison to when you're heavier? Like
You're getting up in sections.
I'm so mobile now. I think up until 110 kilos, I was fine. Now that I've gotten this extra, now that I've gotten to the size I'm at now, I'm really starting to notice the lack of mobility, the struggle getting around, like just walking being such a massive chore. Now I know how you felt for the last 5 years, Mark. Even like, when I bend over to like put on my socks in the morning, just my chest being close to my knee. When I get up, I'm like, like the pressure in my head and the pressure in like my stomach when I just bend over to put my socks on. It's hard to fucking describe that to like people who just haven't been this weight. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking weird.
I'm just over 124 at the moment on average, and mate, I feel like I'm like 110. I feel so like, which is crazy at this weight that I feel like this, but it's a nice feeling. Like if I just took off and was like, you know what, let's just fucking just eat whatever, mate, I'd be 300 pounds in the next month.
I know.
Easy. But the thing is, that's
you were heaviest ever, like 285-ish?
No, mate, I was 297.
Fuck, were you?
So I was 135 or so.
Yeah.
But I was, and the thing is, mate, right, this is what I've learned over time is that the heavier I get, the fatter I get, that's when my bloods and blood pressure take a hit. Fine. And that's when I was at my heaviest, right? I was up at that weight. I couldn't sleep properly. My readiness, my sleeps were like fucking 50, terrible. I couldn't even finish sets in the gym on leg days and stuff because my breathing was gone. So staying a little bit leaner, I feel fucking amazing. My training's 100%. My bloods are better, my blood pressure, you know what I mean? So I'd rather creep things up like that. I'll be up, like with the way this is moving, I'll be up above 280 over the next while. But I'll still have my glutes boxed off.
Yeah. Well, it's like that. Like when you were 297, it's the same when I was like 277. Like if you start dieting from there, you're losing 15 pounds in the first week.
Mate.
Like that's what we're seeing straight away.
I was 297. And when I pulled off the first 20 pounds, and I was the same body weight as I am now, I was still way fatter than I was now. You know what I mean? So like that first 20 pounds, it's literally just water.
Yeah.
Whereas now, if I start dieting, I wouldn't have that big drop off. It would just be like a little drop off.
Little move down.
Yeah, that's the thing with me now. When I start dieting, or like it's just like I get lean. Everyone says, "Oh, you get so lean so quick." Yeah, but my set point is already tidy. So when I drop 10 pounds,
it's noticeable.
You notice it straight away. Like, and that's why even like, if I wanted to, I could probably be much heavier. Now, look, I do struggle to fucking get fat, right? But I've always been very patient in my push-ups, bar maybe 1 or 2 odd push-ups. And like, if I wanted to get super, super heavy and be fucking walking around at 125 kilos, I probably fucking could, right? But like, then you're just one of those guys who's like, oh yeah, I'm fucking 125 kilos or whatever. And then you fucking diet and you pull off 60 fucking pounds to get on stage, and people are like, you're not as big as I thought you were, sort of a thing. It's like, I know now when I get down to like 105 kilos, lads, I'm actually going to be inside out, I reckon. Do you know what I mean? Like, I only lost, right? I didn't even lose 13 kg last year to get on stage. I'm 117 kilos now. So like, I lose 15 kg from here, I'm down to 105. Like, I know I'm going to probably be in similar condition to when I was on stage last year, or just about, like, and I still have another fucking stone more to pull off from there. It's fun though, because I get 8 weeks into prep and then boom, I'll be in sick shape, fucking engagement will be flying. I'll start posting a couple more of those reels telling people to take more drugs. It'll be great, I'll gain loads of followers.
Oh, that's the job. Here, let me ask you a question. I was with Joe at the weekend, and like we were just chatting random, just chatting bollocks and stuff like that. But we were chatting a little bit about fruit and stuff like that. Frozen versus fresh, and the likes of, say, blueberries versus this. I know this is completely off topic, but just want your opinion. That you're on mute. You're still on mute.
Still on mute.
Fuck's sake, lads. Straight away, I'm like, right, okay. Frozen blueberries, fresh strawberries, pineapple, either or.
No.
Honestly, I like fresh and I like frozen, but I don't do tin anymore, Dara, don't worry.
Yeah.
But Frozen blueberries, definitely.
Yeah, and do you know when you go blueberries, because I said this to me, do you know you can get the ones in like Aldi are the super small, they look like, or versus these large. Do you rather the small little ones or the big large ones?
I like the big ones when they're fresh and they're almost like grapes.
But not fresh,
they're
if they're
not
going
squishy.
frozen.
When there's like a pop to them, they're almost like grapes.
Oh, right. When I'm dieting, I like the small ones because I feel like I get more of them.
That's I'm on the small ones now still because I'm just enjoying them. But like I know what you mean. But like I said it to Joe, and Joe's like, "Why did you want them ones? You need to get the big thick ones." Like that was our whole thing, was that like having that conversation about small versus large blueberries.
Nah, I'm kind of waiting on the big chunky blueberries, to be honest.
Yeah, but like frozen, Dara. If you're frozen, like fresh ones, big ones all day.
Top 3 fruits.
Top 3 fruits: strawberry, pineapple, and blueberries.
I would say
kiwi kind of comes in there for me a little bit now as well. Like, kiwi's kind of underrated, I'd feel.
Skin on as well. Skin on always with the kiwi.
Skin on.
Yeah, all day. I would say strawberries when they're fresh. At the moment, they're wank. Can't have strawberries in winter. When you get a good strawberry, they're unbelievable.
It's such better.
Well, nothing's better, but like it's so hard to get a good strawberry. That's the only thing that kind of brings them down a little bit. Like I'm definitely going to put bananas in there because when you think about it, the banana is just so versatile. You throw it in your bag, you bring with you, super fucking cheap, high amount of carbs, good potassium. Bananas, I think, are just fucking good and they taste nice. And I'm gonna put mango in there. I used to like my pineapple. I still like my pineapple, but it gives me really bad heartburn in my off seasons. But mango is just like mango is the one for me. Love that.
Berries, pineapple, apple.
Yeah. Like we have good variety here. We have a good variety of choices.
Apples going to trigger me a little bit. Apples give me a little bit of kind of gas and kind of IBS and stuff.
I think apples are like the heaviest fruit for me. As in, like, they'd sit the heaviest, like they wouldn't go down as smooth. But I just have the reason I say apple is because I cut it up into little fingers and that they're banging. But apple and almond butter or peanut butter together, mate, unbelievable.
Yeah, if anyone who's watching or listening to the podcast, if you ever see Marky, he eats like, you know, like how you feed a toddler, where you keep all the stuff separate and you put it all on its own little plates and bowls and stuff like that. That's how Mark likes to eat his food.
It works across it.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything separately, and then even the meal I had before this. So I had the rice, I had the chicken, I had the peppers. Then I put the green beans on top. Then I put the ketchup over it, and then I have to pick the green beans out with my fingers and eat them before I eat the rest of it. And even when I'm in public, I'll still do that. And then I have to finger the lunchbox, then lick it up after as well.
Yeah,
you must be good with them fingers.
Even when I'm starving, man, I never do that whole fucking finger in the bowl thing. I don't know why.
I'm very embarrassing to be around because I'll just do it in public and people be like, "What the fuck?"
What's it like over in Dubai now in terms of like Christmas? Is there like lots of like lights up there? Do they have Christmas trees? Like, do they kind of get in the spirit over there? Because I was just in a Christmas markets yesterday in Manchester, and it's kind of obviously very Christmassy over here at the moment. But like, what's it like in the desert?
I don't fucking know because I haven't been anywhere. But for real, I've seen like people's stories and stuff, but I really don't know. It looks like there's loads of Christmas trees and lights, and they do try and make a huge deal out of it. But it was raining this morning, but when it's still warm, it just doesn't feel like Christmas.
I know.
Yeah.
In the New Year this year, they're doing like a 7-day New Year party. So like, it's not just New Year's Eve. They're doing like every night over the first week. They're doing like big like shows and events and stuff.
That'd
which
be
pretty cool.
Yeah, be cool though.
But I think New Year's will be more so interesting rather than like what Christmas will be like here.
Yeah. You go down to look at the Burj when it's all on New Year's. Would you do that? Or you'll be in bed, will you? Midnight.
Well, I haven't actually went up the Burj, but my mum is coming over and Dad the 15th of January. So that's when I'm going to be like a tourist, and I'll bring them up and see it and stuff as well.
I haven't rang into New Year. I haven't been awake for the New Year in probably 6 or 7 years, I'd say. Since I stopped drinking anyway, I definitely haven't been. And that's nearly 5 years ago.
So. Nothing good ever happens on New Year's, mate.
Yeah.
Only bad.
I'm actually, I'll be 5 years sober in 2 weeks, lads. Big milestone for me.
That's a milestone now.
Congratulations.
That's the job.
Fucking doesn't feel like that during traditional time. It doesn't, in a way. Yeah. You know, Mad, you know, like every now and again, your friends would send you like a Snapchat memory. I got one last night, right? Not going to say what it was, clipping me down in college, right? But it was 9 years ago. And I was like, 9 years ago? Was it 9 years since I was in my final year of college? I was like, that's fucking wild.
Mate,
You know, the time flies.
people may look at you are real and be like, oh, you know, his health must be fucking terrible if he's taking. They don't realize, mate, that you now are much healthier than what you were before bodybuilding.
They don't know.
They don't know what was happening in them.
They don't know the punishment I put in my body. Trust me, if they think high blood pressure from a steroid cycle is bad, the stress I used to put myself under.
And mate, this is one thing, right? People be so quick to jump at bodybuilding. Oh, it's so unhealthy. It's this, it's that. People don't understand it has literally saved each one of us in different ways. Whether that be from a worse life from a health perspective, a mental perspective, it saved us from where we're at. So that's what people don't see where we used to be.
Mentally and physically, like I was fucking.
Where would you be if you didn't come to that? Because like I was in the same as you, Dara. Like I was them college nights and God knows what. Like we were doing it all night till 6, 7 o'clock every night. Like, you know, like there's people still continuing that.
And like, I was going at fucking
like that would be 2-3 times a week. Like if not, like, you know, kind of way, like even like you know in college, like Christmas Day and the Christmas rag weeks, like they were fucking
week or two straight. Those weeks, like rag weeks and freshers week and stuff,
they'd roll into one day. It would literally feel like one day.
I remember one week, it was in my final year of college. I went straight from refreshers week, or was it rag week, into 4 nights in Berlin, and it was just like it was like 8 days straight of just like taking bangers, taking coke, taking cake, taking everything under the sun, drinking. Like that's not fucking healthy. Eating fuck all. You know what I mean?
Zero sleep for
very, very little sleep. Yeah.
And then how shit do you feel mentally off the back of that? You're like, is it even worth it? But it's just like a cycle, and the next week do the same thing.
But it's that like you just keep doing it because like when you feel down, you just bump yourself back up. Like that's what that lifestyle is for people there.
Yeah, take a bump, get your head straight.
Yeah.
I know it's vicious. It's vicious. It's very hard to get out of though. Like I won't lie. Like back when I was like really in it, like it was so hard for me to get out of that. And as disciplined as, even at the time, I was super disciplined with the gym, and like my diet was always perfect when I wasn't like out in the session and stuff. Like I was really weird like that. I was kind of an anomaly in that, like I was always in like really good shape and went to the gym and stuff. But like I just disappeared for 2 weeks on the session. But like I used to find it very hard mentally to like break that cycle, and every single time I'd fucking lose the run of myself. I'd be like, why did I do that again? Like, why are you doing it to yourself? You know, keep asking myself all these questions, then I just fucking do it again. So it's like I couldn't help myself. It's like I had a compulsion, you know. And I was just like, I need to fucking get out of this. You know, I need to get out of this self-destructive behavior pattern, or it's just going to absolutely kill me. Like, you know, it's funny because like probably like 75-80% of all my close friends back home are all sober now as well. Needed.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it ended up like that, but it's funny.
I think you're lucky that you still have all them friends and they were your friends. But I think a lot of people are in the situation where it's like their friend circle. Are they friends or are they drinking partners?
Yeah,
and I think that's why people are in that cycle, because they know if they don't go out with their friends, they're probably going to have no friends.
Yeah, and I'm very blessed. Like I have an incredible group of friends back home. We're extremely close, all of us, and I feel like any one of them would like take a bullet for me, right? There's a good like 6 or 7 of them like that we're all extremely close. But I've kind of been lucky, and I understand that. But at the same time, when I was trying to get my act together and straighten myself out and all that, I had to purposefully pull away from them and not be with them and ignore them.
Group chat messages and all that.
For about 2 or 3 years. I had to just like get away from them for ages, and they kind of knew that, right? Like I had to just not be around them while they were still drinking a party and do whatever, so I could focus on myself. And this is the thing, guys. It's like you might be out there, you might be in 1 or 2 situations, right? You might be in a group of friends where, like Mark said, they're not really your friends, they're just your drinking buddies. If you weren't on the session with them and you were in a room and you were sober, would you even have anything to talk about, right? And then you might be in a situation like I was in where they are actually really good close friends, but they're just not doing things that are aligned with the life that you want to live or the goals that you have, and that's
you want to be.
I was in, right? And I had both of those friends. Do you get me? Like I had both the same one big group, but I had to just go away, completely isolate myself, go through a really, really lonely period for genuinely about 2 or 3 years, and just focus on doing my own shit. And it's funny because all the people that I met through that, you, Mike, Mark, you, Ryan, are all really good friends of mine now.
That's it's like there's light at the other side of the tunnel from them drinking days. But do you know what you're saying there about like with friends? Like what I'm seeing here is just another kind of spin on the conversation is the difference at times between like say males with their best friends and then say females. Like my best mate growing up now back home, we hardly speak, but we'll speak like if we haven't spoke for 6 months, it feels like we were speaking yesterday. The same thing there, like our conversations could be like, we could send each other like just reels on God knows what, but we wouldn't have any conversation. It would just be send that, like it, send that, like that. But if I rang him at 2 a.m., he'd answer that kind of way. And I might not have spoke to him for 6 or 8 months, like consecutively. Like that's what I find there where it's like, it's, you know, that difference where like in female friend groups, if that happens, they hate me, they don't like me, they're, oh, I'm out of that circle. Whereas same thing there with you, Mark, like if we didn't talk for 6 months and if you dropped me a message, go, Mike, you free, you know, I'd ring you back, I'd ring you within 5 minutes. Same with you, Dara.
There's no better feeling than that. It's like everyone respects that we have our own journeys, that we're trying to fucking deal with our own stuff. So it's not personal if you're not talking to anyone
every day or every week.
Just focus on what you're doing. I'm next Saturday. I'm meeting up with. So I had my best friends for years. In the past, probably 7 years, we've probably spoke 2-3 times. But we're gonna meet up next Saturday, and it's just gonna be like we've never
straight away.
Crazy. It's like, you know, again, it's nothing personal. It's just we've
different paths of different parts of life at the minute. Because like what you said there is what I did. Like my best mate came over to Manchester last year. I haven't seen him since 2019 and it was like 2024. And we spent 2 days and it was like we were there every week or every weekend we're hanging out. And like nothing's awkward, nothing like that. That's what I always find. Like it's so good when you have people like that.
And then I think you start to get to an age now where I'm like, how have I let this go 7 years?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm fucking like this as well. I'm getting so old. I'm getting this real urge to be like, oh, I want to be around my parents again. And I can't wait to go home at Christmas, just spend time with my mom and dad, right? Who are batshit crazy. And I spent my whole early 20s being like, I need to
get away from it.
I'm not going home. I'm staying over here. I need to whatever. But things come full circle, lads, as you get older. I think you start to appreciate things a little bit differently. You start to see things from a different perspective. And, you know, I can kind of see that with a lot of my friends now as well, as they have their own families.
I think, like you said, I fully believe, like, you need that period of isolation. And, like, yeah, it's going to be selfish at times. But if you really want to fucking excel and not live the same life for every single year, it's going to require things that most people won't want to do.
Do you know, there's a popular term for this, and I feel like I'd done it before this term was coined and before it got cool, but monk mode. Have you ever heard of that? Monk mode, where you go through that ice process of isolation, self-improvement. Not only did I at that time isolate myself from my friends, whatever, like I was living with people I worked with down Tralee at the time, and like I remember like they'd be asking me to do whatever, I'm like, no, I'm going to bed. But I'd go into my room at 7:30. I would literally read books for an hour, 2 hours. I remember reading Matthew Walker's Why We Sleep. And then I started improving my sleep after that. I read Jordan Peterson's books like 12 Rules for Life and started implementing all those lessons and learnings. And like I'd get up early, I'd go to the gym, I'd come home, I'd prep my meals, and my fucking roommate wouldn't even be up. You know, he'd just be crawling out of bed, going into work. And like I was on a very different time schedule to everyone else around me and doing very different things than everyone else around me was doing. But that was important for me. And I think like people need to understand this. Like when you go through that like monk mode period, it's like you have to be very selfish. You have to do it for you. You have to not let people kind of distract you or influence your decisions. You just have to really stay very rigid. And if it's funny because it was very hard for me to do at the time, because I used to be, I'm not anymore. I used to be really extrovert. I used to love being, I'll be honest, the center of attention, the fucking, you know, crack at parties sort of a guy. And like just being around loads of people, being out all the time, being extremely social. And then when I tried to go through the process of self-improvement and I knew I couldn't be doing those things, I really struggled with the isolation. But once I kind of got through that initial kind of 2-3 months and I started to see how much better I was feeling mentally, how much clarity I had, how much my physique was progressing, how much, you know, my sleep was improving, and even like my skin got better and like everything, and my mood got better. I was just like, oh, I need to double down on this now, you know? So it's really difficult at the start, like with anything, but once you start to see the returns and the gains, it does encourage you to keep going. And if you can do like just a 6-month period of that, it will completely transform your life in the same way that, like me, right? I really, really struggled with alcohol. The first time I decided to be like, right, I'm going to stay off the drink for a while. I did 2 months, did a 2-month stint. I have never drank the same way since. After I did that 2-month stint, I didn't fully give up the drink until 2 years after that. But that first stint where I stayed off the drink for 8 weeks, it completely changed my relationship with drink, how I viewed it and how I felt about it for life. You know?
I think you reach a point. Everyone at some stage has to reach a point where like there has to be more than this. And if I truly want to change, something's going to have to change. And that monk mode that you go through, it's like you don't necessarily know what's going to come of it, but you know it has to happen for you to reach a new version of yourself. And you're just you're isolating yourself and just being like, this is going to pay off. I don't know how, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's impossible for me to work on myself this much and not to improve and not to see things move forwards. I think once you trust in that, and then once you see things improve, that's discipline built for life.
Yeah.
Because then you know, fuck, if you really work towards something, this is what happens.
Yeah, and
it's calling yourself out, like you said, call yourself out on your bullshit. Like that's what you would have done. Like when you isolated yourself, you'll actually get clarity of everything that was like, why was I spending all the years doing this? Why was I doing that? And like it sets us up that's why we're all on this journey and the path where we are now. And like it's absolutely great to see where we all come. Like we all had our little issues. Like Dara had his with college, the drink. I was kind of similar like that. Like I was the opposite. Like I used to go to the drink to be in the groups because like we used to be like quiet. Like my group of friends were quieter. Like we were more into cars. And when I was in college then it was kind of like I wanted to explore that aspect and I felt like I had to drink. Do you know that kind of peer pressure like we'd see as well? That's where I felt mine came from. And then I couldn't leave that. Then my group of friends who were drinking, doing party drugs and all that, it's very hard to leave that scene. But like we have left it. Obviously now we're on not the party drugs, we're on the the growth drugs.
I think as well, like it's important to like have a little bit of self-awareness yourself and understand that it's okay to kind of shed your skin and leave an old you behind. Because sometimes this is a really weird kind of like psychological kind of phenomenon that I've kind of gone through quite frequently over the last couple of years, where I look back at that previous version of myself, and I'll have a lot of nostalgia. I'll be like, fuck, remember when I was back in college and I was a fucking mad bastard and I was going out and I was doing all these crazy things and I have all these crazy stories and I used to have some crack and I used to be really social and I used to be like this and that and I was actually fun and blah, blah, blah. And I kind of look back on that old version of myself with nostalgia and almost a little bit of jealousy, being like, geez, I wish I could fucking, you know, live out one of those weeks again. But then at the same time, right, I have like this complete dichotomy of being where I think like, I'm so glad that that's behind me and I'm this version of myself that I am now. It's weird. Like, it's like I hold both of those beliefs at the same time. I always look back and think, like they were fucking good times, but it's in the past.
But do you know what? It's good. It's in the past because, like, you know, if you didn't experience that, you know, like people that didn't experience sometimes, like would it, like, you know, if you were kind of half in, like, could it have dragged you back in years ago? Like if you didn't live that kind of crazy lifestyle, that's kind of one thing where people might look back and say like, fuck, I missed out on this. Like, we know both sides.
Here's a very interesting topic, right? I'll bring it up and just bring it back to the core of our podcast, which is bodybuilding. Something I've thought about quite a lot. You know, you see all these like freaks online, right? These like young guys, like, you know, like the likes of like Jack Eels and stuff like that. Really young, incredible physiques, you know, going to be like top Olympians in the future and stuff like that. But like they've been bodybuilding since they're like 16 years of age. And sometimes I think to myself, oh, fuck, I wish I kind of, you know, started a little bit earlier, started bodybuilding a little bit earlier, or maybe started like taking it more seriously earlier or taking gear earlier or whatever. But then I think, oh, but would I trade off all those memories that I had? And I'm kind of like, look at some of these guys who are bodybuilding from a very young age, but now because of social media, treat it very seriously from a young age. And I'm thinking like, are they just going to hit like late 20s, finish bodybuilding, or early 30s and have like this fucking midlife crisis or this delayed period where they just go off the fucking rails and go bananas and stuff? You know, I kind of like feel like I got a lot of life out of my system early. And that has allowed me, Joe Gann speaks about this as well, that's allowed me to really commit to bodybuilding. I feel like with my personality, if I didn't do that, I'd kind of be in and out of bodybuilding. Did you get me?
Yeah.
So like, what do you think of like, even we could go even for up and coming young Irish bodybuilders. It's like, should you really treat bodybuilding so seriously from such a young age and get into it and not do anything else but bodybuilding? Or do you think there's merit to just fucking living a bit of life first? It's the same as like starting online coaching when you're fucking 18, isn't it? And not having any life experience.
But it's like that aspect there, like it depends as well. Like if their genetic anomaly can put them atop of the game, probably great to chase it then. But like if we look at there, like the majority of people that like when you see on Instagram 16, 17, 18 and they're chasing bodybuilding and you look at them, you know straight away they're going to be nowhere in the next like 8-9 years. Like not trying to put it down, but like you know straight away it's going to take a lot of work. Like say if you're like I wouldn't want to be 16 starting crazy bodybuilding and then be 28, 29 and just kind of realize that like I can't even win a local show. I spent 10 years chasing and I'm coming 6th, 7th in shows. Like that's when you're going to have that kind of crisis. Whereas like I'm happy I lived the other life first, because like what Dara said, I'd look back at it now and again and go, oh, them weekends and that life, like I'm happy I have them memories, because I feel it would send you the other way. Like if you had 8-10 years like of it, whereas like Mark started at a very young age, but Mark was winning shows, winning junior titles. Like that's the difference. Like you were up there in the mix in all your shows. Whereas if you weren't, like, how would you feel, Mark, if you were, say, 16, 17 in the gym, started steroids 18, and say if you weren't placing in anything, you weren't, like, if you weren't developing where you were and you're 28, then 29, how would you feel? Like, would you keep chasing it? Like, that's kind of the way, because you started at that young age.
So, right.
Or would you hop on earlier?
Oh, I had, believe it or not, like I was kind of finished my fun when I was like 18, 19. So like I took my first drink and drug and stuff when I was way too fucking young. You know what I mean? So like being like 13 and 18, my fun days are over. So I did have them. And then like, yes, I started bodybuilding young, but also for me, a big part of bodybuilding as well, I grew up around alcohol.
Okay.
So I do not want to fucking see alcohol. Does that make sense? So someone could be in a position where maybe they didn't have that life before, but maybe they don't want it because of their surroundings when they were younger as well. So maybe that kind of fuels them in bodybuilding, and they never want to go down that road of let's try this party scene, etc. Because even though I didn't go down that already, I've still been around that when I was younger and I didn't like it. So it's just different circumstances, but I do feel like I have a client who is actually over in Oz at the moment, and not going drinking or anything, but he was afraid to even go out for meals and stuff. I was like, mate, he's competing next year. I was like, mate, he was like, I'm supposed to have a meal tonight, but I'm not. Like, go fucking eat. Go enjoy. I need you to come back after being like, fuck, that was amazing. I cannot have you coming back being like,
missing out on things a little bit. You're not even in prep. You're not even near it.
You can bodybuild at a young age, but if you are consistent 90% of the time, why can't you enjoy a night out or a fucking meal here and there? It's not going to fucking make or break you.
Yeah, I have to have this conversation with young lads who are, maybe like in their third year of college or final year of college or whatever that I coach, and like, could be like you said, my Christmas Day or something like that be coming out, and I'm like, mate, fucking go out and have a drink. Don't be asking me. Just go out. It's one day. Just fucking go out, binge out, and just get back on track. You'll be grand.
It's not that day or that meal or that drink. It's fucking what you do with the rest of the days.
It's the habits after.
Once you are nailing everything the rest of the days, you shouldn't worry about one night out, because it's not going to fucking ruin your progress. If you're not doing it the rest of the days, you're not going to make enough progress in the first place. It's not the night out you have to worry about.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That was deep.
That's about an hour as well. That got deep there, man.
Yeah, that was a good therapy session there. That was now for us all. Well, I like talking about all that sort of stuff. Like I really do, and I think it's very, very important. I think a lot of people relate to it as well.
It shows the side people don't realize that like it hasn't just been gym, diet, sleep for 10 plus years. Like, we've come from them situations. We've lived that, like, and like, even there with Mark, like, I would have never known you would have had that 13, 14, like, exposure to all of that, and like grown up in around the alcohol scene as well. And that will shape you, because like, it's either going to pull you in or else it's going to push you away from it. And like, luckily it pushed you in the direction you needed to go.
Absolutely. 100%.
People forget that we've been at this for a very long time, you know. They see like what we are now, and oh yeah, like we're very ardent, very regimented, blah blah blah. But like there's been years of a build up to that. You know what I mean? Like everyone's journey and everyone's path is a little bit different, you know. So I suppose there's many different routes to the top of the mountain, isn't there? You just have to
Find
take your own route,
that
find your own route.
you.
Yeah,
and there is no top of the mountain, because behind every mountain is a bigger mountain.
That's it.
Tip of the iceberg sort of stuff, isn't it? Yeah, one last question now before we wrap up, right? Just so I know myself, right? I think I know the answer to this anyway, but for anyone who's watching, it might be useful. I was visiting Ryan Urkel yesterday, right? And I was like, Ryan, if you have any box of Lantus, because I'm nearly out, get me a box of Lantus. They're out a day since April. Grand to take, probably fine to take. They're just going to be less efficacious, aren't they? I mean, I take drugs that are out there all the fucking time.
I worked in pharmaceutical, and I've had this conversation with a lot of people, especially with tablets. Yeah. So if you look at, like, let me pick up a fucking thing there now, just randomly. So box of telmisartan is in date until 2027. So the way expiry dates work in pharmaceutical and tablets like that is the fact that, like, that's when it's going to be guaranteed it's 100% dose. So tablets will still be, like, say if that's 40 milligram, in 10 years out of date, that could still be 36, 37. Tablets have a really long kind of life like that, but they have to put an expiry of when it's going to be at its most potent. So tablets 100%. There is more discrepancy when it comes to Lantus and the likes of that. Not like, it's still, like, say if you're taking 20 units and it's out of date since when, April, like, it's only just gone. But if that was 2-3 years, like, there will be more discrepancy on a liquid versus a capsule. Capsules will hold it. So if you ever have any medication like Clen T3, T4, and if it's 2 years out of date, just bang it in. There's no issue with that. I've had that conversation with lads in my gym. A lad came up to me with Primo tablets, and they were out of date since 2020. So we had that kind of conversation. But Lantus, there'll be a little skew on it. I don't know how much in like 6 months, but like, it might not be anything at that stage because it's fresh enough. But if it was 2 years plus, I would be kind of looking at that.
I'll just bang it in and I'll find out anyway, you know what I mean? If my fasted blood glucose starts fucking going up, all of a sudden I'll know that it's not 20 units I'm taking.
Yeah, but that's the one there with tablets. If you ever have tablets, just don't worry about little things like that, because how they're designed, because like, we had to put that through all FDA trials, and like, tablets could be stored for like 8 years, and then they have to retest them again just to see the potency of them.
Here it's a little bit different. Do you ever get like crystallization in your vials where it all like kind of congeals and stuff like that?
That's temperature as well. That's temperature and transport. So a lot of that crystallization is temperature. Like, it's hit a low temperature. And like again, I personally, like, what they say is, like, from things like when we would have been doing things like that, is like, yeah, heat it slowly and the crystallization will go and it'll be back 100% because it's just like frozen. But still, like, personally, I wouldn't want to use it myself.
Yeah, I think with something like that, I wouldn't chance it.
No,
like,
not
when you're
with
injecting yourself, last thing you want is a fucking abscess. Like,
no, I wouldn't, because like, again, like, to make sure it's fully gone. But like, that, they were the worst things. Like, remember that the postman would come with your special delivery, and you're like, yes, and you open it up and you see these crystallization on one or two of them.
Happened me once or twice, man, with crystallized vials. I was like, fuck's sake, I have to throw this out now.
I know. Sure, look. At least we know that now as well. But yeah, no, bang the Lantus in and see what happens. And as I said, Dara, did you pick Lantus up when you were in Turkey, no?
I didn't, you see. That was the one thing I don't know why I forgot to fucking pick it up. Don't know why.
5 pence, €26.
Yeah, like, I was like, why did I not pick it up? Do you know what I mean? I don't know what I'm thinking.
You can get it here, but I don't think it's as cheap as that.
I don't know I can't remember the pricing over there, but like, but over there, I couldn't even believe, because in Spain, it's about €51, €52. But over there, when the woman in the shop said like 26 for 5, I was like, yeah, okay, give me 10.
It's so cheap, man. I'd nearly book a trip over to Turkey and just fill up 2 suitcases, come home and just sell all the shit. You sell Lantis for £25 a pen over here, you'd make a fortune.
Just be
I'm
careful.
going to get hair done next year.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what happened to me the other day, lads? I was fucking using a toothpick like in between my 2 front teeth there to clear it out. A fucking chunk of my teeth came out. Look at that. There's a little gap in between a bit of the back of my bottom tooth. Fuck came out. I was like, fuck, that's it. Get the teeth done.
I'll give you my discount. I'll give you a 10% now in Seville.
Yeah, Mark, when are you going to get
the hair, Mark?
Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to get it done, but I'm probably going to do it next year. Fuck it, why not?
Yeah, no, do it like it. Definitely, like, do you know, like fucking, like, and probably a good time would be like, would it be like straight post prep, like, you know, when you're coming into a cruise? It's like, what is it? You need 2 weeks or something, 2-3 weeks off training.
Mark will make sure he maximizes that time off and that time he gets the hair transplant done. There won't be a single day wasted anyway with Mark, that's for sure.
It'll be all planned in.
Yeah.
Look, with the way I planned this year and navigated everything, jeez.
Yeah.
It's been mental.
You know, like, just a quick one, just when we'll finish up, just what Mark was saying, getting that done, because that'd be like, I know, like, that'd be fucking, like, the longest thing is waiting for getting done. Are you noticing progression each year? Like, are you noticing like loss each year, or is it kind of consistently holding where it is now with the last few years? Or
to be honest, I don't think it's got worse. I think like it's been just as bad the past 3 years. Like I think when I first met you versus when I moved to Ultraflex, there was a big fucking difference. Yeah.
And after that, I don't think so. No.
I think after that it's held. I think Dara, yours. Are you like you used to slag mine, and then all of a sudden you were like, oh fuck.
Mine is
yours is nearly.
Mine is starting to really go now as well, and I notice how thinner it is through here. But how I really notice it and gauge it is that when I grow my hair out back long, my thick curls aren't the same as they were a couple of years ago at all. Yeah. I do reckon though, right? Because like I have very strong like hair and nails and stuff like that. I do reckon if I came off cycle and I wasn't running high DHTs or whatever, and I stayed at like 200 milligrams or whatever, and I just cruised for like 6 months, I reckon it would grow back way thicker. Do you know? But I don't think I'd get like the hairline back. So I definitely will get. I definitely will get it filled in my at some stage.
Mark, are you doing anything for prevention? Any minoxidil or anything like that?
No, I'm too fucking lazy, mate, and I hate the smell of that shit. I got it once, that minoxidil and stuff, and I'm like, do you know what? I can't be arsed doing this. I'm kind of like one of these guys. I'm like, do you know what? Look, if it gets that bad, I'll get a hair transplant done. I don't really give that much of a fuck now.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's good. Do you know?
Yeah, I'm not doing any because I got to a stage where I was like, I should have started this a long time ago. It's not going to fucking bring my hairline back.
No.
Yeah. Like, that's the one thing I've been consistent. Like, I've held that. Like, I have it all, like, sitting over here, like, in there. Like I do every morning, every night. Like, I know Joe is the same. Like, Joe's been very consistent. Like, we were chatting about that one as well. But, like, I was the same. That's why I said I'll get that done. Because, like, I notice when I'm on cycle, it's kind of fine. But when I finish prep, I always get a thinning, like after show for about 6-7 weeks. I noticed that a lot. Then it kind of helps because like back in like 2016, 17, like I had really thick long hair. Like my fringe would have been down to around here. Like I would have had a swoop to everything like that. And like same thing there, like with Dara, like my hair would have curled up too. Whereas if mine grows long now, it's just stringy and straight is what it goes like.
I was fucking convinced. I thought, there's no way my hair is going anywhere. And then all of a sudden,
it just goes
going. And I knew. And I've said it a couple of times to my barber back home. And he goes, since I've been cutting your hair, it hasn't got any worse. It's like, I'm telling you, man, when I really noticed that was my crown up here as well. I remember taking a picture one day and I was out in the shower and I was like, fuck me, that's got bad. But, fuck it. Look, here's
what it is.
Here's another thing, because I hear this off clients all the time and they get other people messaging me and stuff like that, right? Before I started steroids, I knew there was a possibility I might lose my hair, okay? I fully accepted that. And now it's happening and I own it and I genuinely don't care because I'm willing to make the trade-off with the muscle. There's nothing fucking worse than when someone's running fucking 500 milligrams. Like, I think my hairline's starting to go. I'm like, yeah, so what? Suck it up. What do you expect? This is the contract that you signed. I'm like, fucking either stop taking steroids and stop bitching about it or just fucking deal with it. Like,
yeah.
It wrecks my head. Like, it's a pet peeve.
I know.
It is what it is.
Exactly.
It is what it is. Like I said, mate, when it comes to it, I'll just get a transplant. Problem solved.
Yeah.
It
is.
I mean, like, do you really actually love bodybuilding and care about building muscle? if you're fucking cribbing about your hair that much. Like, I think, like, do you know what I mean? Like, look, I care about how I look and fucking whatever. I loved when I had long curly hair and shit like that as well. But I decided to start taking steroids, and I've accepted the consequences of taking steroids. So I'm not going to fucking complain when my hairline starts going back. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that logic. It's like, oh, look, the consequences of my actions have arrived. You know what I mean?
Oh, poor me.
Let me just fucking text my coach as if he's going to be able to do anything about it. It's like, yeah, but that's what happens. You're taking tests. You know, what do you want me to do about it? Like, fucking hell. Take some Anoxil and lower your dose, or fucking stop taking gear.
Will we do it then? And on that bombshell, will we wrap up this week?
Yeah, we'll wrap it up there. That was a long one, boys, but it was a good one.
It was.
Thank you for watching, guys. Next week, Christmas special. So if you have anything you want us to wrap up for the year, we might go over highlights of the year, maybe New Year's goals, some little bits like that. We'll chat to you then. We'll all be back home in Ireland as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys. Leave that there.